Okay, so get ready because today we are taking a deep dive into mindful, authentic expression.
Uh-huh.
And to be honest, I'm pretty curious about this one myself.
Yeah?
We've got a whole bunch of different materials, research articles, even like a guidebook for some event, it looks like.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's all about it like tapping into creativity, but with like a mindfulness twist.
Okay.
So we're going to try to figure this out together. So,
Yeah, it really seems to be more than just creativity, though.
okay.
All the sources talk about this thing called flow state.
Uh-huh.
Like when you're totally absorbed in something and time just disappears
Oh, yeah.
and like ideas just come to you effortlessly.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you're, totally lost in your favorite hobby.
Right.
But they're saying it can apply to like self-expression too.
Okay, hold on. Flow state.
Yeah.
Maybe we should back up a sec for people who haven't heard that before.
Okay, sure. So, have you ever felt that feeling of being so engrossed in something
Yeah.
that like time just stops?
Oh, yeah.
You're super focused, you have tons of energy, and everything just clicks.
Uh-huh.
Athletes talk about being in the zone.
Right.
Musicians being like one with the music.
I gotcha.
That's flow state.
Oh, okay.
And the cool thing is this isn't just some like, woo-woo concept.
Right.
There's actually neuroscience behind it.
Oh, wow. So there's actual science backing this up.
Yeah.
Okay, that already makes it more interesting to me.
Yeah.
But how does this mindful, authentic expression actually work? I mean, what makes it different from just expressing yourself?
Well, it's about bringing mindfulness, authenticity, and expression together.
Right.
Kind of like they're all supporting each other.
Uh-huh.
So mindfulness, helps you be aware of your thoughts and feelings without judging them.
Right.
And authenticity, that means expressing yourself genuinely, without trying to be someone you're not.
Be yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And then expression, that's about finding the way to share those thoughts and feelings.
With the world.
Exactly.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it. So how do people actually practice this mindful, authentic expression? Because I'm looking at this guidebook for something called Full Moon Fusion.
Interesting.
And it has some, let's just say, unique activities.
Yeah, full moon fusion seems to be all about putting these principles into practice.
Okay.
And some of the activities are definitely outside the box.
For sure.
Like there's one called the Deep Connection Icebreaker.
Okay.
And they ask people, what's one thing within you that you feel the world hasn't seen yet?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's what caught my eye, too.
Right.
That is not your typical icebreaker.
No.
I mean, I guess it would make people think about what they want to express.
Yeah.
But does that actually work?
Well, think about it. We usually go through life showing just a certain side of ourselves.
Yeah.
We kind of hold back some parts.
That's true.
And this question forces people to acknowledge those hidden parts.
Uh-huh.
And just by saying them out loud,
Yeah.
it could be the first step to actually expressing them.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like planting a seed or something.
Right.
But let's be real. Some people are going to find that question kind of scary.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
I mean, not everyone wants to share their deepest self with a bunch of strangers.
Yeah, that's where mindfulness is really important.
Okay.
This guidebook talks about creating a safe and supportive space
Right.
where everyone feels comfortable to be vulnerable.
Uh-huh.
They call it psychological safety,
Okay.
like feeling accepted and respected, even if you share something really personal
I see.
or different.
So they set the stage for people to open up.
Yeah.
What other activities do they have?
They've got stream of consciousness writing, where you just let your thoughts flow out onto the page
I've heard of that.
without censoring yourself at all. And then there's this breathe and scribble exercise,
Breathe and scribble.
which combines breathing with drawing.
Oh, wow.
It's all about helping people tap into their subconscious
Okay.
and access like a deeper creativity.
Interesting. And then there's this thing called the gratitude lasso,
Uh-huh.
which honestly, even for me, sounds kind of out there.
Right.
I'm all for gratitude.
Yeah.
But this has you thinking about moments you're thankful for all the way back to the Big Bang.
Wow.
Isn't that a little much?
That's a long time ago. It might sound a little out there at first, but they're actually onto something.
Okay.
Research shows that just practicing gratitude can really have a huge effect on how we feel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it can change our whole perspective, like reduce stress, even boost our immune system.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are benefits to like counting your blessings,
Uh-huh.
even if you're going all the way back to the beginning of the universe.
Right.
But how does that tie into this flow state idea?
Well, gratitude can help us shift out of those negative thoughts.
Yeah.
And into a more positive, like open state of mind.
Okay.
And that's super important for getting into flow.
Uh-huh.
Because when we're all worried or doubting ourselves,
Yeah.
it's tough for creativity to come through.
That's true.
But when we're feeling grateful,
Right.
we're way more open to inspiration and new ideas.
So it's like you're clearing out all the mental clutter
Yeah.
to make room for those creative sparks.
Exactly.
Okay, I can see how that works. But some of these other activities are still throwing me off.
Like what?
Like the freestyle rapping?
Oh, yeah.
How does that even fit into all of this?
It might seem strange, but think about what freestyle rapping actually requires.
Oh, okay.
You got to be totally in the moment.
Right.
Connect to the beat and just let the words flow out.
Without thinking too much.
Exactly. It's like pure spontaneous expression.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of vulnerability and authenticity.
Yeah, that's true. It's like you're bypassing that inner critic and just letting the words come out however they come out.
Yeah.
But that could be terrifying for some people.
Totally. It's a challenge.
Especially if you're not a rapper.
Right. But that's part of the point.
Yeah.
Mindful, authentic expression isn't always about being perfect or polished or anything. It's about embracing the messiness of it all.
Yeah.
Like the whole process of discovering yourself.
Right.
And sometimes the weirdest things
Yeah.
can lead to the biggest breakthroughs.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So we've talked about all these activities, but is this full moon fusion just like a one-time thing?
Well, it seems like they do it every month.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at a yoga and meditation center.
Okay.
They've structured it to guide people through this whole journey of self-exploration.
So you start with mindfulness,
Uh-huh.
and then you move to creative expression.
Exactly.
That's cool. It's like a workshop where you try all these different techniques
Yeah.
and see what works for you.
Right.
But do people actually come out of this with anything concrete?
Yeah. It seems like a big part of their mission is to have people take action.
Okay.
They don't just want them to be creative. They want them to actually do something with it. In fact, they try to launch a new product at every event.
A new product.
Yeah, something inspired by the whole group.
Wow, so they're actually walking the walk.
Yeah.
That's impressive. But I'm curious, what kind of products are we talking about here?
Right.
Like paintings and poems?
It sounds like it could be anything.
Really?
Creative workshops, even business ideas.
Wow.
The focus seems to be on helping people share their gifts with the world.
However that looks for them.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got this mindful, authentic expression concept, this full moon fusion event,
Yeah.
and these pretty interesting activities. But what about people who aren't going to these events?
Right.
What can they learn from all of this?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
How do we use these ideas in our everyday lives?
Right, because let's be honest, not everyone's going to be comfortable freestyle rapping or sharing their deepest secrets with a group.
That's okay, though, because this is all about a personal journey.
Okay.
You find what works for you,
Yeah.
what helps you connect with yourself and express yourself in a way that feels good.
So it's not about following some strict rules
No.
or copying other people.
Right.
It's about finding your own way.
Exactly.
But how do you even start doing that?
Well, the first step is building that mindfulness.
Okay.
Paying attention to your thoughts and feelings.
Without judgment.
Exactly. Noticing what inspires you, what makes you happy, what makes you feel alive.
So it's like tuning in to your inner voice.
Yeah, that voice that gets drowned out by all the noise of everyday life.
Exactly.
And once you start to hear that voice,
Uh-huh.
you can start to explore different ways to express it.
Through writing.
Yeah, or painting, music.
Maybe even something totally different.
Totally. There are so many possibilities.
But what about those inner critics?
Oh, yeah?
The voices that tell us we're not good enough or creative enough.
Right.
How do we deal with those?
That's where the authenticity part comes in.
Okay.
It's about acknowledging those doubts and fears,
Uh-huh.
but not letting them stop you.
All right.
It's about giving yourself permission to express yourself imperfectly,
Yeah.
to try things out, to mess up.
And to learn along the way.
Exactly. So it's all about the journey,
Yeah.
not just the destination.
I like that.
And remember, the goal isn't to be like the perfect self-expressor.
Right.
It's about the process of learning and growing.
Discovering yourself.
Exactly. And sharing that with the world in your own way.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But for someone who's feeling stuck, who hasn't felt that creative spark in a while,
Yeah.
how do they even begin to tap back into that?
One way is to just start noticing the beauty around you,
Like what?
like the colors of a sunset,
Uh-huh.
the sound of the wind, the patterns on a leaf.
Okay.
These little things can help you reconnect with that sense of wonder
Right.
that often leads to creativity.
So you're basically retraining your brain
Yeah,
to see the world in a new way.
exactly. And to appreciate all the little things we usually miss.
That's cool.
Yeah. And as you start to do this, you might feel more inspired, more connected to yourself, and more excited to express yourself.
So it's like a domino effect.
Exactly. Mindfulness leads to connection, which leads to expression.
Wow.
And as you keep practicing, you might find yourself getting into that flow state more and more easily.
And who knows what you might create from there.
That's the exciting part.
It's like opening up a whole world of possibilities.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about what mindful, authentic expression is, and even some of the unusual ways it can show up, like through freestyle rapping or whatever.
Right.
But I think there's something else we should talk about.
What's that?
What about when self-expression just feels kind of scary?
Yeah, that's a good point. Being vulnerable is tough.
Yeah.
Actually, the sources talk about that a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they talk about the importance of being kind to yourself.
Okay.
Like having self-compassion.
Right.
Treating yourself the same way you'd treat a good friend.
That makes sense, because we tend to be way too hard on ourselves.
Yeah, we expect perfection right away.
Yeah. Right, which makes expressing ourselves feel impossible.
Exactly, and that's where mindfulness comes in again.
Okay.
It's about noticing those thoughts, like, I'm not good enough, or what will people think?
Yeah.
And then choosing to be kind to yourself instead of judging yourself.
So it's not about getting rid of those doubts completely.
No.
It's more about changing how we react to them.
Exactly. And as you practice being kind to yourself, those negative thoughts might start to quiet down.
Okay.
And that leaves more space for you to express yourself authentically.
I'm noticing a pattern here. Mindfulness seems to be at the core of all of this.
Yeah, it's the foundation, you could say. Without being aware of our thoughts and feelings, we just get swept away by our doubts and fears.
Right.
But when we practice mindfulness,
Yeah.
we can actually choose how we respond to those thoughts and feelings.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
So we've gone from learning what mindful, authentic expression is to seeing how it works in real life.
Right.
What's the one thing you hope our listeners take away from this?
I hope they realize that it's never too late to find their own way of expressing themselves.
Yeah.
Whether it's through art or writing or music, or even just talking to a friend.
Yeah.
There are so many ways to share what's inside of you.
It's about embracing who you are.
Exactly.
And sharing that with the world in a way that feels true to you.
Yeah, and you never know, you might even discover new talents and passions along the way.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
This has been a really interesting deep dive.
I agree.
So as you go about your day, think about this.
Okay.
What's one small way you can express yourself authentically? What thought, feeling, or idea are you ready to share with the world?
That's a great question.